Hello, and welcome once again, my friends. Yes, another quick review, this time on the direct sequel to last time's movie, Critters 2. The main course, I might add, is the subtitle. And the tagline is, "They're back for seconds." And indeed they were. Again, produced by the Chill brothers, and aided by the powers that be that are the great 1980s New Line cinema. We get another sequel that is worthy of being a contender for one of the best small monster movies ever made. Again, the plot is a little simplistic still, but it's also slightly different this time. Whereas with the previous film, we were only seeing the new family in town getting attacked out on their farm, this time the son is visiting his hometown, essentially, and visiting friends and other people he knew there before they had moved away, apparently some years ago. Yes, apparently some years have actually passed in the actual plot, but only a short year or two had actually passed in real time. The young man who played the young child in the previous film had hit puberty and looked much older by the time puberty was pretty much done with him. Although he did not, rapidly age or anything, he just looked much older than what he was. But it lends the fact that this is a couple years later, and probably a catch-up to modern times, whereas the original one was made in the mid-80s, was probably sort of meant to take place somewhere in the early 80s. And again, one would almost compare Critters franchise to the Gremlins one, but the Critters one took itself a little more seriously in places. And I would also add that they actually did see Gremlins shortly before going into production for Critters, and they purposely tried changing plot elements to keep it further away from the Gremlins franchise, hence allowing them to not get legally sued and all that, being safe. But with that in mind, the young man is visiting the town again, and wouldn't you know it, just as he decides to visit, someone else is poking around his old home farm, to which they actually find leftover critter eggs that had not hatched because they were not kept warm enough. And it's about Easter time now. So a bunch of these punks steal a whole bunch of eggs, essentially sell these eggs off to a pawn shop owner. They are then bought by some little old ladies from the church that are going to set them up for painted eggs for Easter egg hunting. However, due to the fact that they are let out in the sunlight, and a couple of other ones at the pawn store still are left near a heater, the critters begin to hatch again, and are once again unleashed, this time on the city itself. Again, expanding upon an already basic idea and still keeping it simple. But not stupid simple, just broadening the imagination, as the critters in this particular film are let loose on very much opposite sides of town and begin to mesh into the middle, eating anything that gets in their way, and also destroying anyone who tries to stop them. In fact, the current sheriff, who is being forced into a bunny suit, actually gets devoured by these things and then tossed through a window. At the church, no less. Epic. Once again, this is a very entertaining film. Still somewhat simplistic, but it is essentially alien invasion and town protection instead of home protection this time, as the entire town is slowly being devoured and having to run for their lives, trying to find some safe haven from the critters and trying to find a way to retaliate back. And actually, the humans actually do come up with some plans this time to actually fight off the critters. And, well, they sort of fail a little bit. But then again, one of the humans is actually the one that saves the day for this one. And, I don't want to give away too much, of course, yet again. But he's assumed dead, but found yet again at the very end of the movie in a very silly manner that you'd think he would have shown up sooner, but the silliness aside, this is still a nice movie. They've expanded horrific horizons, allowing for a much larger body count, much more critters to be made for the production of this film, which there's originally only 8, now there's at least 50 for this particular film. And of course, every single one of them needs to be animated as rolling balls, monstrous hand puppets, animatronic creatures that snarl and bite. Just an epic expansion of an already decent idea, and going even further with it. If you love small monster movies, if you like alien invasion films, and if you at all liked the first Critters movie, then the second one is a must-see, as it takes everything that was good with it and just tosses it even further out into an even bigger production and an even more epic story. Again, another very short review, I know, but there's not much else to say about it. It is the quintessential small monster franchise, and the second one hammers that fact home. And it really helps that the first one alone got thumbs up from both Siskel and Ebert in the time. So, why you gotta think about a sequel that takes everything that the original did and pushes it to the limit? It's only gotta be better. And it's only gotta be that much more awesome. I defy anyone who would see this movie and be able to sleep through it. You know who I'm talking about. Anyways, watch and enjoy, and come back next time, as we are now allowing Matt a special review next week. See you then.